opening your eyes. I would like to start with a poem that I wrote today, right after I finished listening to the album, and it says, "From sorrow to pain, the flesh travels its journey, inventing its dreams as a way of redeeming its essence, that which shows the path of tasting the anger, of listening to the message, and staring to the unknown. This life is a miracle. Every suffering is a gift, which shows me the power of piercing through the bliss. Go on and feel every emotion that your experience brings into you, for that is what makes us human, and we came here to just be."
Beautiful.
And we will talk about the album The Sound of Perseverance from the band Death. This album was first published on 1998, and I would like to start asking you, what does perseverance mean in your experience as a human being?
I've been thinking a lot about that also today, because I also went through a walk in the forest and listened the album after a while. It's an album that I don't listen so often, but when I listen it's very powerful for me. And I was thinking on that about the title, The Sound of Perseverance, and about perseverance and what it means to me. And perseverance for me would be never give up, but never give up on what I truly believe and feel and know, regardless of every thing, person, or event trying to bring that down. And I think this is very well connected to my path, because there has been many moments in my life where people or friends or family or situations or places try to bring me down. And the perseverance for me is to keep going, keep that faith in what I'm doing, that I know that it's something worth, because of the joy that I feel doing something, or how much I enjoy doing something, or how much I feel connected to that something, or how much I believe that this is something worth and good to bring forth, or to keep exploring, or to keep creating, or whatsoever.
And where does it come from?
The perseverance?
Yeah.
Good question. From where everything comes from.
And what is that? And what is that? And how does that relate to the lyrics of the songs of the album?
From the emptiness, from the void, from the empty darkness. I mean, you talk about where the lyrics from the song come, and I feel like the lyrics from the lyrics and the music itself, Chuck Schuldiner and his whole philosophy comes from a very dark and empty space. It's very like a very deep philosophy. I see Chuck Schuldiner as a poet, as a mastermind, as a crazy musician, as a very virtuous guitarist, as a very unique human being in this history of mankind.
Yeah, and today as I was listening to the album, I connected a lot with the title of it, with perseverance, because I thought it was an act of perseverance to go through it, like to experience it fully, in a full way, because it's so dense in emotions, in like changes of rhythms, in different sounds, in different like energies, and I'm not used to listen to this kind of music, so it was a like an experience for perseverance for me to go through it, like to I sat down and I was like all the time going through it, and it felt like I was like running a marathon in a way. And
it's funny that you say this, because I also, when I was listening the album and when I was in the last song, I thought to myself, I think I never listened the whole album, like really immerse myself in the whole album, like and that was really interesting, because yeah, I had the same feeling.
So today was the first time that you have like listening to it in a whole?
Not really, but I mean, to give it fully my attention, because many times I play it for tattooing, or I play it on the background, or I see it and I listen to it, but I listen a couple of songs and then I'm off to doing something. But it's really, yeah. Today I think it was the first time that I really immersed myself in the whole album, and that was interesting. And matches a little bit to what you said. That I mean, I love metal, but it's not something that it's not the style of music that I listen now every day. Actually, there's no style of music that I listen every day. I listen so wide genres of music that, yeah, it's yeah.
And what did it bring today? Like, what did it pop up in your experience as you were going through it?
So I walk with Maya, our dog, and with Mara on my chest, our daughter, and we walked to the forest, and I didn't want to play the album until I am in the actual forest, so I don't see cars.
Your 3-month-old daughter, too.
Yes, 10 weeks and 5 days. Maga, here in Deutschland. In Germany, her name is Maga. It's very nice because in Spanish, Maga is the magician girl. Yes, so I went with her in the chest, in the I don't know what's the name of this thing to put her in English.
Yeah.
And when I was inside the forest, I put it on full power with these noise canceling headphones, and I had a crazy goosebumps in my whole body. This drumming of Scavenger of Human Sorrow is always like so much power, and I had crazy goosebumps. It's been a while that I don't listen to death and to the sound of perseverance, and it was really powerful. And I, in this moment that I had started to feel goosebumps everywhere, it was really like an electricity going all through my body. I started to realize, because Mara was leaving, and I started to realize that she was like shaking or moving also. So for sure she felt it. It was really powerful, and I also was listening in a different way today, because I really I put my headphones on and I try to listen it for first time. I've listened it so many times, and Scavenger of Human Sorrow, I listened it so many times, and I put the headphones on, and I really was like, I'm listening for the first time. And this was very interesting because as I went through the album, I really felt so many things, and I realized why I like it so much. Yes, it was very interesting.
And why do you like it so much?
Because it's a very powerful energy, because it's full of change. It's like a very unpredictable. It's very dynamic. It's speeding up in the right moment, and you don't. It's very smooth. The transitions and the changes sometimes can be really brutal, but at the same time very smooth. It's such a masterpiece for me how it's crafted, this album. The Sound of Perseverance, if you don't know, is the last album of Death before Chuck Schuldiner died. And yes, it's I don't know, it's for me such a crazy masterpiece. When I talk about this album with my drumming teacher, well, now I'm not in drumming lessons since a while, but I was in drumming lessons last year, and I talked about this album with him, and he was like, respect, like the drumming of this album is yes, and as a drummer, well, yeah, I consider myself a drummer, even if I'm not drumming right now at the moment. Drums, because I drum like a shamanic drum a lot, but I talk about drums. It's very interesting to keep the rhythm behind. It's very complex.
Yeah, it was like hard to go through it. It was like so dense, man.
Like a really mass of power.
Yeah, and I listened to it for the first time today, and then afterwards I was reading the lyrics, because as I was listening to it, there was some pieces of the lyrics that I could understand, not like the whole of it. And I think that it deserves a lot of more listens after having read the lyrics and like understanding a little bit more about where it goes to. As you say, it was like the last album of the band, and Chuck Schuldiner, I read one of the comments in YouTube, and a guy said that he was like trying to move away from death and transitioning to another project that he had. So this was like a something that he created as an expression of his willingness to move, but like life not letting him to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. Maybe he's doing it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you never know. And I'm
maybe
curious.
He transitioned to that.
I'm curious about like when was like, if you remember, when was the first time that you listened to it, and how was your life in that moment, and how much of that life is present in you today, and what can you recognize of that?
I for sure don't remember when I first listened, but all the like metal came to my life because I was in my first school. I would say when I was around 12, 13 years old. In my classmates, we were listening a lot of metal, and we gathered in the break of lunch. That was the longest, and after lunch we went to a room that we had where we can put the radio, and we listened metal, and we it was really fun. We were like, I don't know, 10, 20 people, like running from one side of the other of the room, and like listening to metal, and or just like being there with our hands, like, or we were kids enjoying a lot, but listening really good music. That class, in that class, there are really great musicians. Like right now, people from that class are really, really good musicians. And that was like a beginning. Was like we were listening to really good music, really great metal. That now I remember. In the last couple of years, sometimes I remember albums that we used to listen in that time that I didn't put so much attention to the music itself like I would do now, and it's like, wow, it's really good. And yeah, there was always like a really good taste of music in this. I was not somebody that was like bringing music. I was more like eating it, receiving it. Yes, and I appreciate a lot this time, because yeah, in this time was very interesting. Actually, one of my first concerts was when I was like 13, 14. It was Cannibal Corpse. And it was crazy, powerful. I mean, first concert, 13, 14 years old, listen to Cannibal Corpse, it was something mind-blowing. And yeah, so around that time, I would say, listen for first time. And in that time, it was like a very energetic thing to move around, to jump, to crash with other people, you know, or to like really move. It was like very physical, this music in that time. And now now it's not so much like this. Even if like the last concert of metal I went was I think, yeah, 2 years ago. In the beginning, yeah, 2 years ago, I went to see Beyond Creation in Berlin, and I didn't move. I meditate. I kind of meditated the whole concert. I stand in the middle, and I was like really processing the music with my whole body, but not in a physical way, like going like many people were in the front in the mosh, and I didn't feel like going there. I was really like feeling fully. So I think that it's very different periods of my life of in the way of how I listen music, how I let music go through.
Yeah, I am like beyond excited, because there is like a something really deep and interesting in the story that you just told. Because what I see is a young child in a place that was not fitting who he like was. So the like this piece of music that touched like this deep string of yourself, and that resonated with that string in a way that made you like it without you even understanding why. Like the expression of that in that moment where your life was not like fitting that thread or fitting yourself, was anger, or like wow, like wanting to like express it on the outside and like destroy, you know. and
Yes.
and now
Actually,
that same,
in that room we destroyed a lot of stuff.
yeah, and now like that same expression of this piece of music that connects to your like uh, internal thread
Yeah.
is like not moving, because you want to experience it like on the deeper core, and you feel this electricity that is a state of trance, that is a consequence of your whole nervous system connected to what is happening in your experience in that moment. So how, yeah, how connected were you to yourself when you were in that room throwing things around?
So this is another very long tema, I think, because this touches another whole huge tema which I'm going through right now, which is education. Right now I'm a father, so Patricia, my girlfriend, she has an 8-year-old son, Bella, and now we are parents of baby Mara, and of course it comes a lot this theme about education in my mind because I don't like the system of how we humans get educated. In the most where the most of people get educated, because now there's another currents of education like a Montessori or Waldorf, but I was not there. So all my school time, I was forced to become somebody. I was forced to compete, and I was forced to go to a school that disconnected me from myself. And I was suffering every single day to go to that school in silence because I had to do it. And I had no fucking chance. So I was every day suffering in silence. And this disconnected me totally from myself and cut my wings and isolated me from my soul. And it's very, as soon as I could start drinking and that I start partying, I became so addicted to alcohol because I was so lost in life that alcohol became like a huge escape for me. I was so deeply depressed without showing it outside because I got used to show outside that I'm fine, you know, because I suffered so much in silence and nights and nights of crying and crying and crying alone in my bed, that it became normal, and it became normal to me to show that I'm fine. But inside of me, I was suffering. I was disconnected from myself. If I was disconnected from what I love, if I was disconnected from what I love to do, I was disconnected from myself. And yeah, it's been a huge theme, and I talk with Patricia a lot about this because I don't want this for my kids, and I don't want this for anybody. And the other day I read a quote from Maria Montessori about like the roots of war. Our society, we humans teach for competence, and this is the root of every war. And when I read this quote, it really touched me because I see it on myself. I see it on myself and how I was raised, and that I was raised to be the best. And and being the best means you have to be the best, better than somebody else. And this for me never matched. You know, it was. I never wanted to be the best. When my father told me like, "Yeah, you have to be the best," I was like, "No, I don't want to be the best." And really, literally. And so yeah, answering, I told you it's a huge tema, and especially right now in my life with 2 kids, I think the whole education system and building humans for competing with each other is totally fucked up, and this totally isolate us from our soul and from what we are really here for, you know.
Yeah, and which is like the difference in the experience of this piece of music, like, because this piece of music is like the thread that connects like the 2 stages of your life and the different connections that you had with yourself. So what is like the the like the subjective different experience of yourself as you were listening to the music? How can you recognize the difference?
Like something like the common denominator from both stages,
No,
or
I'm uh, like in a bodily level, in an experiencing level, like which is the difference between both, and which one feels better?
um, I cannot say that one feels better than the other one,
Mm,
because it felt great in that time too. It was like a really escape. It was so much fun. We had so much fun in this room and
mm,
jumping around and listening to this music loud, and it was so great. It was like really the best moment in every day was after this, after lunch, and we go to this room to just listen music and jump around. It was so
mm.
amazing. And now it's different, but it's also great to listen this music walking in the forest with my daughter on the chest, and walking the dog. You know, it's totally different situation, totally different experience, the same music, uh, and both are great, or both were great. um,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, like yeah. I asked you like which is better, and then I said like why do I need to like be partial in that way? Like
Yes.
if we keep that partiality of something being better than another thing, that perpetuates the problem of competence, of competency, because it's like measuring with the same ruler.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes. It's totally
What,
different timelines, totally different, everything different.
what I can see is like one part which was in the school that was like with peaks of emotions much pronounced in a way. So this moment of extreme excitement, and then going to your bed and crying, being fucking depressed, and now like more east, you know.
I forgot how to cry. If I could cry every night, maybe I would. because I'm still depressed. I think that's less depressed than before. Yes, less, but I'm still depressed and I'm still suffering.
Mm,
Um, but I am taking responsibility, and now I am in my way, and I'm connected again with my soul. But I'm still suffering and I'm still depressed. Less than before, yes, this for sure. I'm more happy than 5 years ago or 10 years ago, yes, absolutely. But this doesn't mean absolute like at all that I'm happy and I'm a happy person and I'm uh, free from suffering. So this music also connects me a lot with suffering of human, with the
mm.
human suffering, with the flesh, with being here as a human is suffering. And that's a reality.
Mm. Yeah, one of the parts of the album that I was able to get the lyrics and listen like clearly was uh, one part where he spoke about the flesh, and that like that word connected me with like the experience of being here, like what flesh brings into our experience as a soul, like this
Yeah.
particularity of our soul as a mass of flesh carries with it so much.
Behold the flesh and the power it holds.
Mm,
That's the name of the song. Yes, yes. It's There's so much memory in the flesh, and like nature, all the memory from ever, it's there. So and the history of humans is full of suffering, full of pain. It's amazing how pain for me, I mean, as a tattoo artist, pain for me is a huge teacher. And go deeper into that pain has brought me a lot of healing.
Hmm. Yeah, the painkiller. And where does your pain come from?
I don't know. O sea, yes, I know, but there's a lot of pain that I feel now that I don't know where it comes from. That's why I'm working with master plants, because they are helping me to discover where this comes from and how to work it and release it. Because many things are like, for example, this trauma of going to a school where I was suffering every day, and that was like a very, very big thing, like in my biography. But many other things created a lot of trauma. And also the birth. My birth was really difficult. I've been processing a lot in the last couple of years, my birth and the whole perinatal experience and trauma, and there's a lot of pain from beyond that I cannot remember now where it comes from. Can be that it's from another life, can be that it's from another experience as another human or animal, or I don't know. I'm really curious and open to understand, and also it's also like I feel and I believe that we are connected to the collective pain also. So a lot of the pain we feel or we carry, it's collective, and because I feel like we're going through a personal and collective process, which are like interwoven, and they're both connected, and sometimes what we need to heal is apart from the collective, or like a collective trauma that can release us, or sometimes it's something personal or transpersonal. And so yeah, I'm curious where it comes from. I mean, I know a lot about where it comes from, but that pain that I know where it comes from is not there anymore. So what is there now, I don't know. Actually, the last weekend I had a ceremony with the iboga. It's a master plant from Africa, and I was told a couple of days before that it was not the right time, but I know that this plant will help me a lot to understand a little bit more. Yeah, it's such a mystery. Life, it's such a deep mystery, and I don't even know if I will have all the answers, or if I will ever know in this life, or if I will be able to answer those questions in this life. Maybe not, because I feel like it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of pain.
And when you experience pain and you are able to recognize where it comes from, what is your way of dealing with it? How do you process it?
Either I process it or either I escape from it. So it's like a mix. And
Mm.
I think like this goes like in waves. There's moments in life where I'm really tired of life, and
Mm.
I'm more evading the pain, and I spend more time on screen or doing things that put me out of the pain.
Mm.
Spending more time in, I don't know, watching stuff or uh, uh, yeah, or drinking or a lot, or yeah, different ways of uh, getting out of it. But meditation is a very good tool for me to get in contact with what I'm feeling, because what I've realized with meditation is that what we experience on the surface level, what we feel on the surface level, when we start to go layers and layers closer to that sensation, the sensation is transforming, and it's nothing like what we experience in a very superficial level.
Mm.
So I understand the importance of going deeper and to fully observe and feel that sensations, because we are also working and releasing by going deeper into the observation of those sensations. And yeah, but there's some things or some sensation or some pain that need you to do something to go very deep, because it's not possible sometimes to go so deep. So,
Mm.
and in these cases come the work with the master plans that for me it's been something huge in my life. So the first time that I tried any psychedelic was when I was 21, and I study a lot about LSD, and in my first experience I felt really ready to go through this, and I something inside of me told me, okay, it's the moment. And I went to the forest alone. I was with a bunch of friends, but then I left them all and I went alone in the forest and have a walk in nature. And this day my whole life changed, and I discovered how powerful these tools are, and how deep you can go. And I was so fascinated directly. I changed my life so much after this experience, because I realized that there is so amazing tools available for us that they were demonized. For me, like my whole life, these tools were demonized. But as I got in contact with them, I got really deeply in contact with myself, and with stuff that was very deep, hidden, and forgotten. Yeah, so this is this for like um, ceremonially working with master plants or psychedelics. It's a very important way of processing this
Mm.
pain for me. Meditation. Well, yesterday I was talking with my girlfriend about this, because she was like, she told me one moment, like, you told me that you are here for healing, and healing is the most important thing for you in life. So that makes psychedelics the most important thing in your life. And I was thinking about it. I was like, no, actually, it's not so much like this, because yes, I feel like I'm here for healing myself, and healing myself, healing my family, and healing and if we are all healing, we're healing the earth. But everything can be medicine. So this walk today in the forest with my daughter on the chest, and listening to this album with Maya on the side was medicine.
Mm.
Maybe not in such a deep level, but it was medicine. And and I feel like the more medicine we put in our lives, the better lives we're gonna live, and the more closer we're gonna get to release all this pain. and life itself is going to bring us to what do we really need to release this pain, because it can be that psychedelics are not for you, but can be that holotropic breath work is for you, or tattooing is for you. Getting tattooed, I have clients that tell me that tattooing is a therapy for them, and they're meditating, and they don't meditate.
Mm.
So yeah, let me put the light on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about how how much pain did Chuck Schuldiner go through that he was able to express into the music that he created, and through that expression be able to heal, or to be the vehicle for healing for so much people that are going through that pain, going through that suffering of being in a place where they know that they are like not fully themselves, but they cannot get out of that.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm thinking
Yes,
like,
because somehow it's like going home. This album, somehow it's really like going to a place where you feel like understood.
mm,
For me, and I know that for a lot of people. I mean, for you it was quite a shock today because you don't regularly listen metal, and it's not like a gender that you really like,
yeah, but
or that you.
that brings me to the question, like, what is in metal that is this vehicle for so many people, and at the same time it's such like a hard listen to someone that is not used to it. Like I'm thinking about one YouTube comment of the album where the guy said there is no so many people that are able to understand this, but if you are able to understand it, you get to a point where you feel something that is not available for everyone. And I'm thinking like how much of that pain that I see that a lot of people that listen metal are going through, how much of that pain is um, I forgot where I was going, man. But there is a lot in there that it's very interesting for me, like about metal itself, because I know that if I put that piece of music with my parents, they will say like, what the fuck is this? So there
Yeah.
is like a sensitivity that is built because of that pain that
See, okay,
is
also
fucking special.
it's also very easily judged, this music, by somebody that is not used to listen something like this. It's very, like, for example, the 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 guttural singing. It's something very easy to judge as like, what the fuck is that? But have you ever done something like this before?
Mm.
It's great. I mean, sometimes I make this like Mongolian singing. Now it's been a while, but it's coming really from very deep down inside, and it's a great thing to do.
Mm.
And for some people, yeah, sounds like, wow, what is? But it's a, I don't know. I don't know. I think like we're all connected and more to certain music, certain sounds, and uh, more far from certain gender, certain sounds, and that's okay. It's part of the journey. But I think it's interesting always to have an open mind and to listen something, like to really listen something before judging it. Like listen a music piece. Yeah, but it's okay if you're not, if you don't feel connected to a specific music. That's totally fine. It's not mainstream, and it will never be, because it's very powerful, very strong, and yeah.
The other day I listened someone saying bliss is any emotion fully felt. And I love it because it opens the door for pain, for joy, for any emotion. And if you do that process of understanding the emotion and like experiencing it fully, it brings up uh, an understanding of the non uh, non-permanent nature of life that brings peace, at least for me.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yes, I agree, and I think there's no good or bad emotions. Bella, Patricia's son has a book that is it's a German book that the title is "Every Emotion is a Good Emotion."
Mm.
And it's a book where there's monsters, where he make a tick on each monster in the end of the day of the emotions that he had that day, and he can write a little bit about his emotions in that day, and it's great. It's a great tool for kids, and I see on himself, and uh, and to understand that every emotion it's fine, and it's fine to feel anything that we are feeling. But many times some emotions are demonized, and like it's like you should not feel this or that or think this or that. But when we really let everything just be, and the emotion that come to just be, don't fight with them, experience them, lead them. And same like the thoughts, sometimes we judge ourselves because the thoughts we're having, and it's not even us. So it's a good thing to just let that thought be and explore it. Maybe has something good to tell us or to show us, and if not, it will go. But if we fight with the emotion, if we fight with the thoughts, they will like become stronger.
Mm. I'm wondering how many emotions did that 12-year-old Felipe experience that he was not able to deal with or to accept them, and how that uh, has like a as a consequence the suffering that you feel now.
Yes, yes, it's yeah. Now I understand the like how difficult it is to grow up where in a family where you don't have um, emotional support. We were raised in a family, like I love my parents and the way they did everything. I'm really grateful because everything led to what's going on now. It was perfect, but it teach me a lot, like what are the consequences of raising kids without very strong emotional support. And how much pain that generates.
Mm.
Yeah.
And um, how would you help, or what would you say to a person that is going through a lot of suffering in his life, in her life right now? How would you transfer your life experience into something that that person can listen and make some progress?
Um, I would have a conversation. I like to connect a lot one-on-one with people. I've always been more friend of one-on-one than group conversations or group meetings. I am really friend of one-on-one, and I enjoy a lot to talk with people and to open everything. You know, I'm really open with people that I just met, and for me, it's okay to share what's going on inside of me, and the same way, in that way of opening up, I open the door for people to open up to me, and this happens a lot nowadays. So I do it. I do it every day, or not, maybe not every day, but I do it a lot. Um, uh, for me, it's a big passion for me to understand pain and suffering, and to help people that are suffering. And the tool that I found that is the most helpful for me is the work with the medicines, and it's something that uh, I I encourage people to get in contact with in a very respectful and sacred way with the right people, not never to do it alone, and to do it very responsibly. These are very powerful tools that things can go not in the way we would like to if they are not done right. But for me, they have been such a incredible thing in my life. And I'm talking about LSD, San Pedro, ayahuasca, changa, mushrooms. I work a lot with all these medicines, and they have helped me so much that this is like something I share a lot, like my experience and what I know about them.
Mm.
And I really believe that if more humans would be having these experiences, we would be more happy as a collective, and we will have less troubles as a collective, and as individuals too. The world would be a better place if more humans would get in touch with, in a ceremonial way, with psychedelics. And yes, and meditation also is a very good thing to learn, but I understand that it's not something that I can teach somebody in 1 hour. I mean, I went to Vipassana because I really wanted to learn to meditate, you know. And I understood after these 10 days in silence that it's so important to really understand what you're doing, to go through these 10 days in silence, meditating the whole day. and it's not something that you can really learn in 1 hour. Actually, I told my teacher of the Vipassana that I'm a tattoo artist, and that I actually would be great that if I can teach my clients to meditate so they can use tattooing as a tool to heal if they are able to observe the sensation instead of fighting with the pain. And he laughed at me. He told me, yeah, man, it sounds great, but it's not something you can teach somebody in an hour or 2 or 3. You have to, that's why this whole thing is made in 10 days, because you cannot learn in 1 day. So yeah, I would love to teach people how to meditate, but I cannot. But I can encourage people to do Vipassana, for example, as I did many times, and some people went and then they were really grateful. Yeah, some people need to be listened, and it's great to listen, but most of us really need to go deep to free all that dense stuff that's going on inside, step by step. It's too much. And yeah,
And
I've seen
I see. Go.
I've seen crazy stuff, like people life changed with a session of Changa, like a 10 minutes experience, literally 10 minutes experience changed their life forever. And that can be the case sometimes, but also sometimes you need to do deeper work to be happy, or to be more like yeah, I don't know, it's such a big mystery, you know. When I went to do a retreat in the jungle, I met people that have done 15 diets in the jungle of 10 days with ayahuasca, and been in more than 150 ceremonies of ayahuasca, and they're still going and going and going because there's so much healing to do. And some people, yeah, I don't know, it's really I feel like it's really important to get in touch with yourself, and to really then follow what is coming, and to don't judge, and to listen.
Yeah, and perhaps that is like the transition into which we are heading to. That is hopefully more of us understanding that we came here to just be, and to experience, and to connect with who we are. And as soon as we start doing that, it's like the most powerful drug of them all, because it's not only about ayahuasca or San Pedro or meditation. It's about finding what works for you, and
Yeah. Yes.
finding the strength and the power within yourself to truly trust in what you know is true. And
Yes.
in your case, what like kicked off this whole transformation was you truly believing that that experience in the forest with LSD was going to be something that would click something in your life.
See,
And
it's interesting to go back to that, because before that experience, I had no really expectation that this would be an experience that will make a click, or that would, but it was something that really was. I felt a calling. I have to do this. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't care what's going to happen. Maybe I die. I don't care, but I have to do it. There's something really inside of me telling me you have to do this. And when there are these callings, it's important to do what we really want to do with the proper research, with the proper in I mean, I'm not talking about psychedelics, but in general, like if you want to go and live in Morocco, and after time you keep having that like this calling, and you understand nothing why you want to go and live in Morocco, I think it's a good idea to do it. Yes, and I agree a lot that we have to really get in touch with ourselves with this voice and and get dreams solid.
And trust and have faith, like bring
Yeah.
back that faith that we were taught as a young child growing in a Christian environment. Like have faith in something that is beyond yourself, and start uh, empowering your experience into the faith of who you are and who you can become and what you have inside. I think that the transferring of faith from the outside to the inside is something that needs to happen so that we can take action and be responsible for what we do and the decisions that we make and where we are at, because we are the masters of our own reality.
Yeah. What can I say? Yes. I agree. And yeah, and then I get back in my mind to education, because it's so powerful how kids are educated nowadays. How kids are educated always, everywhere, so that they can be themselves and they are not like uh, destroyed by the system, by the educational system, by the whole system. The other day I listened to a father saying like, my son has to go he has to learn to go through this system because out there is a war. And this was before the war started in Ukraine and Russia. He was saying like, out there, like there is a war happening and we have to fight to survive and to get our food and to have a work, and I was listening to him like, no, I don't believe that. But so many people are really believing this, that we have to really fight in life and to compete to get our money and to make it. And I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. Now I'm very happy to work in what I really like to do, and for me, going to work, it's going to have a lot of fun and spend time with great people. And and even if there are great artists in the same city doing similar thing to what I do, there's no competence. I don't believe in that. But the problem is that a lot of people believe in this. A lot of people believe in this. And this is a problem. This is a big problem because many of our children are getting educated in these teachings that we have to compete and we are going to war. Like life is, it's like a battle. Yeah, step by step. I think doing the work ourselves is a good thing to do, to keep doing the work, by keep doing the work, I mean the internal work, to keep being the best version we can of ourselves, to keep being true to ourselves, to keep meditating, to keep doing our rituals, whatever they are, and keep going, keep healing.
you speak about war, and we have war going on in the world right now. I mean, there is a lot of wars that have been going on for a while, but now there is one that it's like very present. And like you were also part of this war that you are talking about, competence. And what is at the other side of war in your experience? Do you understand?
Yes, creativity. I think
Mm,
creativity, because in no war I've seen like creative processes, and I think when you go past that, you discover creativity,
mm,
or it's like a opposite thing from war. I see it very in my experience. For example, when I went through my own inner war, or when I started to access to that war, I started to discover my creativity and ways of expressing.
mm.
So yeah, I would say creativity, it's an important thing, that it's interesting. There's not much creativity in war. You see,
Mm.
there's no
Most
art
of it,
really.
most of it is like fighting against war happening, like expression of
It's,
creativity to fight the fact that war is going on.
I mean, somebody designed guns and give them a design. That was a creative process for sure, but I don't know. In the act of making war, there's no creativity, or at least I don't see it. Maybe there is. I don't know.
Yeah, but I feel um, complete with that answer. And for starting closing this uh, ritual, because I want to build this space as a ritual, and I appreciate the fact that you are being here, because it shows me the potential that this has as a way of healing. Because your answer to when I ask what would you say to a person that is going through depression was connection, and this is a way of connecting with another one without hiding behind the group, without hiding
Hmm.
behind the mass. And I think that there is a very very strong uh, medicine in that, not hiding
Yeah,
behind.
we have to normalize depression, because we are. I think all of us, we are depressed at some point. We are part of this super fucked up humankind, which it's very fucked up. And we have to really normalize depression and all these feelings, and to talk about it, and normalize all these feelings, and the pain, and the women are making a very big step on this, like the feminist movement. I feel like it's doing a huge step into pain, like, and I think we men need to do that also, to open up, to talk about the things, to talk about in the meetings with other men, to talk about the things that are happening in the world, about six guys a couple of days ago. Six guys in Argentina were raping a girl. Four of them were inside a car, and two of them were like checking out outside the car, and they were like destroying a girl.
Mm.
And sometimes men are like really not talking about these things, and it's like the women that are like, come on, until what needs to happen that the things stop happening, you know? It's incredible that it's still happening. And we really have a huge responsibility as man to talk, to have these conversations, to stop normalizing and that is good to talk about women as an object, you know, because this is very normalized in man meetings that it's like, yeah, it's not good. And yeah, I went in this branch because it's something very strong that I saw today and yesterday. I've been seeing in the social media this what happened, and it's very strong. I feel like
but it's a branch of the same tree, because
yes,
it's like the tree of pain, of sorrow, of suffering that brings into the expression of those people that have not been able to witness their emotions in a way that brings resolution to that, or healing. And the expression of that non-healing is anger, is violence, is all these things that are going on in the world. So as we make this process or this progress towards opening up and understanding that each of us has things to work on, and it's important to like stare them at the eyes and stand still and witness them and work through them, that is what will bring this tree into blossoming, and that is what will bring this new humanity to take place and to come forward. And I think there is a lot of importance in what we have talked about, and I would like to like close asking you, what would you say to that 13-year-old Felipe that is listening to the sound of perseverance? What would you say to him?
I love you and I believe in you. I love in you and I believe in you. And whatever you want to do it, do it. I'm with you. I support you. Whatever you want to be. I will support you. Don't listen, because it's super easy to criticize. It's super easy to criticize. It's super easy to criticize. But to go and get things done and to do and to dream and to make those dreams happen, it's not easy, but it's great. And I think we should all be doing that. There's always going to be dreams. Once one is done, it will come another one, and then another one, and then another one. We should be doing them, making those dreams happen, be a reality. Because I think that dreams are really like a technology from the soul that is bringing us closer to fulfill our maximal potential here.
Yeah, I came into you spoke about dreams, and I came back to the lyrics of the first song of the album, Scavenger of Human Sorrow, that says, "Shallow are words for those who starve for a dream not their own, to slash and scar. Big words, small mind behind the pain. You will find a scavenger for human sorrow, scavenger. And that talks to me about the importance of living your own dreams.
Yeah.
And shutting down the noise that comes from outside. So I want to use this space as a way of expressing gratitude to you, because you have been a model for that in my life, the one that is like opening the road in front and showing me that dreaming is what is to be done, and fuck those scavengers. And yeah, let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it
Yeah.
happening. Let's keep opening ourselves, sharing ourselves with the world, so that we can heal ourselves through that.
Aho.
Hmm.
I love you, brother. Thank you for this opportunity also to translate through a piece of music what's going on inside ourselves. It's amazing how music is such a bridge between the internal and the external, and when we are really connected or connecting with music, how much can it bring to us? It's yeah, thank you, really appreciate this conversation, and to share a little bit, yes, and to talk about pain. It's so important to normalize pain, to talk about pain, and to talk about depression, and to talk about all these temas.
Mm.
It's for most people, it's something they don't want to talk, because it's so difficult to open up and talk about the things, or to cry, or open up the emotions, and it's something we need to do more and more, and it's very important, especially in such painful times as a collective. It's really important.
It's time to feel, man. It's time to be. We came here for that. Hmm. Thank you,
Thank you,
and
JP.
see you in the next one.
Yes,
See you at the other side.
thank you.
Yeah. So I will close this and leave it here.